Some of us have one person, the one we've been loyal to for decades, the one we thought would be there at the end. Then one day, usually late at night, you realize the friendship has only ever worked one way. I have watched women spend their strongest years protecting people who were quietly using them. My name is Helen. I'm 73 years old. Today, I'm going to share 6 signs that your oldest friend may not be your friend at all. Tell me your age in the comments. And if you have ever felt that quiet betrayal, that moment when you realize someone had been taking from you for years, like this video now. Point 1. The friendship only works when she needs something. This one hurts because almost every woman recognizes it. Margaret was 71 when she noticed the pattern. She lived in Charlotte with her husband. For 42 years, her best friend Diane only called when she needed something. A crisis, a loan, someone to listen for hours while her own problems stayed invisible. One afternoon, Margaret finally said, "I need help with something." Diane went silent. Then, "Well, I'm quite busy right now." Margaret never heard from her again for 6 months. Some women spend their whole adult lives being available for one person. That person is never available for them. Maybe you have felt this too. Your friend calls in a panic, you drop everything. But when you need her, she's suddenly exhausted or busy. Or maybe you've noticed she only texts when there's a problem. No birthday message unless she wants something. No check-in just to say hello. You are not selfish for noticing this. You are just paying attention to what was already true. Stay with me, because the next one is the one that hides in plain sight. Point 2. She borrows money and never mentions it again. This is the one that forces you to speak first. Ruth was 68 in Tampa when her friend Janet asked to borrow $3,000. A temporary problem, Janet said. It would be repaid in 3 months. 18 months later, Ruth mentioned it gently. Janet's voice changed. She said she was disappointed Ruth would bring it up over money. The conversation ended. The money was never repaid. But Ruth stopped asking because she couldn't bear the shame of being made to feel greedy. Some women give money not expecting repayment. But they do expect honesty. Instead, they get made to feel ashamed for remembering. Maybe you have loaned her $500 or $5,000. She said it was temporary. You believed her. Now you don't mention it because the friendship feels too fragile. Or maybe she's borrowed from you so many times you've stopped counting. And when you get quiet, she notices your coldness, but never asks why. You are not a money machine. You were just someone who loved her enough to trust her. And if this already sounds familiar, subscribe now, because the next one is about memory, specifically hers. If this channel feels like a conversation you have been waiting to have, subscribe now. I make these videos for women who are still figuring out what this chapter is for. The next video may help you avoid this exact heartbreak before it quietly costs you your peace. Point 3. She remembers nothing unless she wants something from you. Your birthday passes, nothing. But the day she needs you, she remembers every detail. Evelyn turned 75 in Savannah. Her best friend Patricia hadn't sent a card, hadn't called. A week later, Patricia called in crisis. She needed Evelyn to watch her grandchildren for a week. Evelyn said yes. It was always yes. But then Evelyn asked, "Did you forget my birthday?" Patricia's response was quick. "Oh, honey, I've been so stressed." Not an apology, not even acknowledgement, just deflection. Evelyn realized Patricia's memory only worked when Evelyn was useful. She remembers the moment she needs you. She forgets every moment you needed her. Maybe she has never remembered your birthday. Not once. But she remembers when you promised to help her move. Or maybe you've told her a painful story 3 times. She's forgotten it 3 times. But she remembers you said you'd loan her your car. You are not forgettable. You were just never being truly seen. Point 4. She takes credit for your ideas or your work, and she does it so smoothly you almost miss it. Dorothy was 72 in Des Moines. She and her friend Miriam had spent months planning a community event together. Dorothy had the original idea. Miriam organized the details, but when people asked who thought of it, Miriam always said we in a way that meant I. Dorothy heard Miriam telling others, I planned this whole thing. Not once did she say, Dorothy's idea, actually. One afternoon, Dorothy mentioned this gently. Miriam said, well, it was a team effort. But it wasn't, and they both knew it. Some women spend their later years watching someone else wear credit for their ideas, while they fade into the background of their own life. Maybe you suggested something and she ran with it. Now it's her accomplishment. Or maybe you shared a gift idea, a recipe, a solution to a problem. She shared it with others as hers. You've said nothing because it felt too petty to fight over. But it wasn't petty. It was your voice being erased. You are not small for noticing. You were just watching your own work disappear. Point 5. When you're doing well, she disappears. This is the cruelest sign because it's also the quietest. Frances was 70 in Phoenix when her health finally improved. She'd been sick for 2 years. Her friend Clara had been present, mostly to listen to her struggles. But the moment Frances got better, the calls stopped. Frances moved into a new apartment she was proud of. She wanted to show Clara. Clara was too busy. Frances got engaged. She wanted to tell Clara first. Clara didn't call for 3 weeks. Then she called and talked about her own problems for an hour. Frances realized Clara only loved her when she was small, when she was struggling, when she needed. The moment Frances got stronger, she became less interesting. Some people are only comfortable with you when you are below them. The moment you rise, they disappear. Maybe you got a promotion and she went quiet. Or you found new friends and she suddenly felt threatened. Maybe your life got better and her interest in you evaporated overnight. You felt the distance but couldn't name it. Now you can. It was jealousy disguised as friendship. You are not arrogant for growing. She was just someone who needed you to stay small so she could feel large. The last one is the one that breaks the relationship completely. Point 6. She talks about you badly to others and then acts like nothing happened when you find out. Rose was 73 in Atlanta. She heard from another friend that her best friend Gloria had been criticizing her. Not one unkind word. Many. Rose was too sensitive. Rose was difficult. Rose had problems nobody understood. Rose confronted her gently. Gloria's first response was, I was just venting to her. That's what friends do. Not an apology. An explanation that made betrayal sound normal. Rose asked, would you be comfortable if I talked about you that way? Gloria said, that's different. But it wasn't. And Rose finally understood. Their friendship had never been safe. It had only ever been one-sided. Some women call it venting. What it really is betrayal disguised as honesty. Maybe you've heard that she's been telling your secrets to others, or criticizing you when you're not in the room. You feel humiliated. You feel foolish. You kept loving her while she was telling people not to trust you. You are not paranoid for noticing. You were just finally paying attention to the kind of person she's always been. There is one more thing I want you to know. I knew a woman named Clara. She was 76. She had no money. Her house was small, but she had 3 friends who showed up on her birthday without being asked. They called her just to hear her laugh. They told her she mattered. They didn't borrow from her. They didn't criticize her when she wasn't listening. Clara was the richest woman I knew, not because of what she had, but because of who actually loved her. You are not too old to let someone go. You are not too far into a friendship to choose yourself. And you are not selfish for realizing that loyalty works both ways. The years you have left are too valuable to give to someone who never valued you. Some friendships deserve to be released. The women who become free at 70 are not the ones who are lucky in love. They're the ones brave enough to walk away. Subscribe now, because the next video is about the kind of friendships that actually heal us, the kind that are worth keeping. I'm Helen. I'll see you in the next one.